This Baba's Murli was so simplified for the subject of remembrance. Because in the four subjects of knowledge, yoga, service, and dharma, the most challenging for Brahmins is, of course, remembrance and then dharma to inculcate. But service and knowledge is so powerful, but Baba wants the balance of all four subjects. Then only you can claim your status. And so today's Murli encouraged us a lot because Manmana Bhava is very simplified. Nothing is difficult. Baba's remembrance is natural. And what do I need to do? I need to make efforts for natural soul consciousness. When I make efforts for natural soul consciousness, Baba's remembrance is there. So I just have to work on one point and then everything starts coming. And I have the balance of all four subjects. When I was very young and I came to Baba, I was 13 years old. And in just 4 months, the whole Lockett family, my Lockett parents, and four siblings, four brothers and sisters, we arrived in Madhuban. That was in 1974, in November. And because everybody was so excited that the first family from Africa is going to Madhuban. So Sister Shilu, Sister Vedanti, everybody kept on saying, "You're going to Madhuban, you're going to Madhuban." And they kept on saying we were very lucky. But one, we've never lived in India. All our life we've been in Africa, born and bred and educated. So we were wondering what Madhuban looks like. And especially me, I was 13. And I had one memory of India, which is quite harsh. When I was 6 years old, so we were three siblings that time, and my mom, Lockett mother, because Lockett's father didn't get leave from work, his business. So my mother took us, that was in Lockett Life. So when we arrived and landed in Mumbai, first we were so scared with the noise and the heat. I've never seen such heat. But then we were stopped in the immigrations because my little sister was just 6 months old and she didn't have a yellow fever vaccine. So they did not allow us to enter India. The people in Africa, that is then Rhodesia, the doctors would not allow a 6 months old baby to get yellow fever. And the Indian government needed it. So we were quarantined. That was the first time I heard the word quarantine. And in fact, the COVID time, all 3 years, we kept on hearing that word every now and then, every moment, sort of. And so when I heard that word, I didn't know what was going to happen. So we were taken to quarantine in Mumbai, and we saw that type of building first time. We were locked up there for 10 days. We were not allowed to go out or meet anyone, but only my mother would go out and she would leave us alone. So I think drama put us in a bhatti at that time when we were so young, locked up in this building, not to meet anyone, not to go out, and just be there. Of course, there were no televisions, nothing in those days. So we kept on playing just in the building. It was corridors and, very dark. And when I was told we were going to Madhuban, I had that image in my mind. And the caretakers in that quarantine. So we thought, the dadis are like that, caretakers. But when we arrived in Abu Road on a train, and one dadi came to pick us up, that was Buri Dadi. It was her duty to receive vegetables and grains and everything in Abu Road, and she would pack everything in the truck, and then the brother will drive up the mountain, and Dadi would shop more and go up again. That was Puri Dadi. I don't think many of you have seen her or even know her. So we mistook her as, the Dadis. But anyway, she was a Dadi, very sweet, very lovely. Then we arrived in Pandav Bhavan because it was only Pandav Bhavan in those days in 74. Meditation hall was under construction, and Baba's old hut was there, the original one, which Brahma Baba used to live in summer. That hut was there. And Baba's room, just half of it, where the sisters in the front sit, that was the only bit. Where the sofas are, that beam, that was the bathroom of Brahma Baba. So it was a tiny Baba's room. And then we met Dadiji and we met Manmohini Didi. This is the month of Manmohini Didi. Manmohini Didi was known also as Gopi because her name was Gopi, Lokik name. And she came to Baba and the Yagya with her Lokik mother and her young sister. So her young sister was Shildadi in Mumbai. And the Lokik mother was Queen Mother, very lovely soul. We met Queen Mother the moment we arrived in India. Then we went to Madhuban. And she was so excited and happy that you're going to Madhuban. So anybody we met, Usha bin, Ramesh Bhai, Queen Mother, Usha bin Ramesh Bhai's Lokik mother, they all were very, very happy. And that love for Madhuban, that land, was so deep that I could feel. And of course, I could not imagine it to be like a quarantine, but I did because I only had that image in my mind. But when we arrived in Madhuban, oh, it was just like a tiny little heaven on earth. People sing Gyan Sarovar and Shantivan and many others, they say Madhuban is heaven on earth. But Pandav Bhavan was very simple, extremely simple. And our accommodation was in Indraprasth. That was the first family being there. We were upstairs in the first floor. Ground floor, that was Dada Narande, and of course not Dadi Janki and all of them. They were in London, very newly gone, but we were there, the whole family. There were 4 rooms there, so we were there. And we could view the Tower of Peace so beautifully from there. And we were told that Brahma Baba's cremation took place here. So it was a very holy place. But then in dinner, we were sitting with all the dadis who were in Madhuban at that time, because they all lived there. Shantamani Dadi, Manmohini Didi, Dadichi, Prakashmani Dadichi. We used to call her Kumarka Dadi. Then it was Manohar Dadi, Ratan Mohini Dadi, Ratan Mohini Dadi's Lokik mother. You can just count. You know? You can't even count, sort of. And we were having dinner with them. They were hosting us. You know, we came from Africa, so that food was just very, very different from what we were brought up with. So we were wondering. And in fact, even the plate, you know, the utensils were very different from for us. So we would quickly eat in that. Huh? Um, so we kids were reluctant, but my parents were so dedicated. They just ate what came in, what it came in. But we were like looking at the brass plate and brass glass, and we actually didn't want to eat food. So Badi Didi, Manmohini Didi noticed that. She was very sharp, very, very sharp. And she asked my mother that children are not eating the food. And she said, uh, Didi, they will eat, they will eat. Huh? We don't understand Hindi, not even a single word. But that's what my mother told us, that Didi is looking at you people and you are not eating. We were so used to bread, and there's no bread in the Yagya in those days. Huh? Nobody baked bread. And we would not drink buffalo milk. So Didi saw that also. And we would not eat anything in that plate. Didi was so sweet. She told my Lokik mother, she used to call my mother Kaki. Kaki means auntie and uncle. She says, Kaki, you go to the kitchen. It was a tiny little kitchen in those days where we have the Toli department, in Pandav Bhavan. That's in that side, that's not that side, but a little bit inside. So it was a tiny kitchen. And guess what? It was all firewoods. And in spite of that, my mother was asked, cook something what the children like. So in Madhuban, it wasn't only elderly people or respected people. Every every soul was respected. Their presence was accepted. And so my mother just took potatoes, peeled them, and made some French fries. That was the easiest she could do. And then we were looking for ketchup, tomato sauce. My mom says, just eat. You don't get all this here, you know. Just eat this and I'll give you everything at home. And so we did. But then Didi and Dadi, both of them, was so sweet. Next day, they told the brothers to buy some Coke because we were not drinking milk and some bread from outside. And my mother and father knew we didn't know the importance of dharna in those days. So we were put in the, what you call, in the prast. And who was serving us? Ram Shlok Pai, Brother Ram Shlok. He was our caretaker. And he used to put us on like a little table and chairs, and he'll put some Coke and bread and French fries. Ah, and we enjoyed it so much. We did not know that these things have come into the Yagya first time. Can you believe it? First time. But today, I feel very honored that Didi could see what quality of souls they are, all of us. Um, she sustained us, not with knowledge and points and dharma, but just love and care for the children. They never saw us as little children. They saw us as Mahatmas, great souls. And so I remembered it so fresh. That was the first time it came in the Yagya. And they never felt that it was like breaking the law and system of the yajna, but they felt they were nurturing future, serviceable souls. And all four of us, everybody took a different path. I dedicated my life to the yajna service. My brother is a businessman. My late sister was in a family but doing a lot of programs. You must have seen her in Madhuban many, many times. They used to come to Madhuban twice in a year. And my youngest brother, again doing service, he has his own family. But everybody is number wise in serving Baba. And so that was one thing I noticed from those days till now. The other thing, you know, um, the ring ceremony was not programmed like how we have in the season now. It's not like that. We announce there's a ring ceremony and go to this room and you will receive a ring from the yagya. No. That time it was so different. You just go to Barididi's room to say hello, good morning, good night. And when she feels inspired, she will just pick a ring and put it on you. So the first time when we went, Didi put a gold ring on my father's finger and my mother's finger. But she gave us silver rings. And we were so happy. We never noticed all those things. In fact, we didn't have any knowledge of that also. We were so happy that we received a ring from Baba. And she said, now you've engaged and you're, forging a relationship with God. And so you are Baba's now. And we were so happy, you know. So that's how our Madhuban trip started. And the whole image of Madhuban was completely transformed in my head. I loved it. We used to go, um, yeah, Badi Didi is Manmohini Didi. Thank you, brother. And so this is how we spent 2 weeks in Madhuban. Then we traveled the whole of India. In those days, it was like 270 centers in Bharat. And so we covered about approximately 200 centers, some big, some small, some very small in villages. But my father wanted to meet the family, and we traveled all over India. We came back to Madhuban, so it was like in November we went to Madhuban, and then we traveled whole of India, visiting all Baba's houses and many other places. And then we came back to Madhuban in January. And that time we were going to meet Bap Dada. And Dadi Prakashmani and Badi Didi organized a personal meeting. And in that personal meeting, Dadi Gulzar was invited because it wasn't like now that we have a season for Bharatwasi, season for double foreigners, nothing like that. And so Dadi Gulzar was invited from Delhi to come, especially for us. And so it was one family from Leicester who runs the center there and us. And we children, not children, all of us, we were sitting in Baba's kamra, Baba's room, where they have this little, mattress on the floor in Pandavavan, and then Baba's bed, and then everybody sits and meditate. So we were sitting on the floor there, and Brother Nibe was translating for us. Although, we couldn't understand Hindi at all. And we met Bap Dada. So it was like all the daddies who joined us for meals, and the three senior brothers, that was Nirepai, Anand Kishore Dada, and Vishnu Kishore Dada, and all of us. So Bap Dada met us personally for a long, long time. Again, we didn't know that this is not the system in the Yajna. It was done first time. And so, this first time food things, and then Bap Dada's meeting, and the dadis were all sitting with us. And then, the dadis were joking, and they said, "Oh, when we heard that, Usha bin and Ramesh Bhai say that this family is coming from Africa, we thought you were local Africans, sir, with curly hair and all that, but you look very Indian." So my father then explained to them that Dadi, Didi, that is Dadi Prakashmani, Manmohini Didi. In Africa, we have all types of people. Although we are all born there, but our ancestors are from India, but we are not exposed to India. And they understood that even in the foreign land, we have, all colors and all, type of people. The bodies are different. The sanskaras, the habits, the language, everything. But they had no idea before that. That was also first time. And so Badi Didi was very happy to see the first family from Africa, that is my Lokik family. We were taken care of, like very special care by the daddies. And Dadi Janki always used to say, even before she left her body, that whatever all of you have received in a form of sustenance, the new creation will not receive that. And maybe out of all of you also, it's 96 souls now online. More than half of you might not have received that same sustenance, I would say. So it is our duty who has received that sustenance, that it is our duty to sustain the new creation, that much love and respect. Unconditional love and respect is important. And I always feel that, organizing service programs, public talks, makeup programs, whatever you do, retreats, um, it's actually sustenance. This is the part of sustenance. So one time in the Yagya, it was creating Baba's children. But now I feel creating Baba's children is important. But even more than that, sustenance is important. Very, very important. And so Badi Didi did go for public programs all over. Huh? She didn't go for foundations and inaugurations and all that. No. Prakashman Dadi went and other Dadis went, Dadi Janki went. But Badi Didi was a godly student, a pure godly student, and nothing else. So one, she was a mother, very caring. A mother doesn't only care. A mother only doesn't only give you love, but a mother also teaches you. She's the first teacher of our life as children. She will teach us, she will correct us, she will stop us, and she will show a stern eye. And she was like that, Manmohini Didi. Now, by now, you know who Badi Didi is. Huh? And so she was a mother. She will nurture you. So I'll give you one example of that. One day in the Murli, she never used to read Murli in class. She was a godly student. She used to take notes. Dadi Prakash Mani used to read Murli. So first it was Brahma Baba, the chariot. When he left body, then Prakash Mani Dadi was reading the Murli every single day. But Didi used to make a lot of notes, you know. She used to take points and she used to make question answers, you know. And so she was a godly student. And one day in the Murli, I have no idea because it was in Hindi, I couldn't understand much. But Dadi Prakashmani and Badi Didi said to Boli Dadi, the head of the kitchen, that they want to share a toli which Brahma Baba is to share with everybody in the yajna. We had no idea what it was. And they were sitting right near the Tower of Peace. You know, they had this uh, coal stoves, um, charcoal stoves too, and not to one. And they were little sisters who were rolling rotis, chapatis. And Didi and Dadi were sitting on these little stools, the knitted stools, they call it mura. So they were sitting on that, mura, and they were going to share hot rotis with homemade butter, sugar, and nuts. Oh, we were all standing in the queue, and hot little chapatis like this, little chapatis were made hot. And they would just put some blob of homemade butter and sprinkle sugar and nuts, and then they will take that and put it straight into our mouth. I was also in the queue, naturally, and because I had come from Africa, Dadi's and Didi's eyes were on me all the time, and I couldn't imagine eating that butter, a blob, a big blob. I was just not wanting it. And I was trying to avoid, but you can't avoid, out of question. Because there's no huge public there. It's just Pandu Bhavan Nivasi and a few of us, maybe two, three of us. So the eye is on us. So when my turn came, I had to bend down, and Bari Didi was going to put that chapati in my mouth, you know. And I was remembering Baba because I didn't want that butter to be in my mouth. And Didi knew that. Didi says, you're going to enjoy a lot. You won't believe I didn't even feel I was eating butter, a blob of butter. It was so nice, so much love, and so much, it was so tasty. Not that I have ever ate after that. Huh? That was the first time, and it has never happened again. I don't know whether it's happened in the yajna when I was not there. You might tell me, but otherwise, um, that was the first time and the last time I've had. Huh? But Didi knew it, that I wouldn't like it because she knew me from the previous year, what I like and what I don't like. Anyway, they were all little games. These games have made us mature and made us very powerful Brahmins and instruments. So, for becoming powerful Brahmins and special instruments, you don't have to sit for hours and hours and hours in Baba's room or just keep on studying Murli and Murli and Murli. But whatever you do, whether it's service, whether it's knowledge and Murli, whether it's tapasya, whether it's anything you do it from your heart. When you do it from the heart, it's very effective. And I think when I was very young, the heart is so pure and innocent that everything just goes in there very easily. That was the second time I went to Madhuban. That was only in 4 or 5 months' time. Because the first time when I went with my parents, I was like, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that, because we didn't know knowledge very much. It was only my parents we followed. But the second time, there was too much realization of I'm meeting God, I'm receiving blessings, I'm making my fortune, what is tapasya? And so I went back to Madhuban. That time I was alone. My father took me, he escorted, And then he left me there. It was my school holidays. And I went to say good morning to Didi. And guess what she did? She called me and said, "Come to me, Pratibha." And she took my silver ring out and she put this ring, this ring that was like 50. I've been in knowledge for 51 years. So this ring was 50 years old. And that time they didn't make any gold rings for adults, no, for children. So it was a very big ring, very, very big, you know. And so Manmohini Didi called Sister Lachu, who is the caretaker of Didi, and said, "Can you please put a thread in this ring?" I said, "Didi, it's very big, it will fall." She says, "No, it will not fall and it will not make you fall." And so they put thread, you know, around, and then she fitted that ring on my hand, my finger. From that day till today, this is the same ring. It broke 2, 3 times. And somebody told me, you know, this is a very weak ring. It keeps on breaking. So just let this ring go and we'll give you a very strong, heavy gold ring. One of the senior sisters. I said, no, I don't want very strong gold ring. I only want this to be repaired. This is Badidi's memory, and I will not change it for anything. Even if you give me a heavy gold ring compared to this one, no, no, no. It has to be repaired, and I am only going to wear this one. So there is so much of, you know, not the value of the thing, but the value of what has been given with what value. Didi saw something in this soul that she straight away put that ring on me. And when my father was going back to Africa, my sister was young, so it was me, then my brother, then my sister, and my brother. So that sister was like, I think, 8 or 10, something like that. And Didi sent one ring which fitted her. She said, "This is the first ring which is made in gold for a child. And please take it for her, my locket sister." Well, she's late now, but she also received. Whereas my two brothers had the same ring from the previous year, and the two brothers started a family, although they are with Baba, but on a different level. Me and my sister have been serving with the soul, the words, action, and life. Whereas the two brothers serve more with wealth. Uh, Body is definitely there, but wealth is more. So they have their own businesses, they have their own family, children, and again, you know, they are with the yajna in their own level. So they could see it, the dadis, the didi, they could see the souls and recognize them. And in our family, nobody has ever reacted to this situation, or never have they argued why my sister's been given this ring and why not me. No, never. Because we could understand the Yajna system, the recognition. And so nobody would argue. Now I see even in Madhuban, they argue, I want a gold badge, I want a gold ring, you know, things like that, limited materialistic things. But you must understand that when Baba or the Yajna recognizes you, you receive things on that level. So it's not category, it is not, you know, status, it is the quality of the soul. Not that you are not quality of the soul, mind you, but it is, there is a margin to progress. There is a margin to make efforts. And so don't even go into that details, please. You don't need to go into that details. But this was Parididi's speciality. After Didi left, things started changing because the number increased in the yajna. The season started growing bigger. So many souls started coming. So it was quite sort of, technical type that please come on this day at this hour uh, in the hall for your gift, or come for the ring ceremony for the first timers, and things like that, which is also not bad. There's a taste in that also from the yajna. So we can't compare the Karachi Bhatti with the Pandav Bhavan Bhatti, with the Gyan Sarovar, and then the Shantivan. Every place has its own speciality and goodness. So um, there is a song, I know I'm finishing, there is a song, वो दिन भी बहुत प्यारे थे और ये दिन भी बहुत प्यारे हैं. Those days were very lovely, and these days are also very lovely. Om Shanti.